It's officially 10 o'clock and I have done absolutely nothing. It's just one of those days. Have you ever woke up, you ate breakfast, today is gonna be the most productive day ever, but you go on your phone and then 2 hours later you're like, oh my God, I'm still sitting in the same spot. I'm not super disappointed because it's like, this is what I'm looking at. It's cloudy, it's raining. I am not like super excited about going outside. Like I just keep like staring at the window. I have to because I want to get an acai bowl. I even got a to-go tea, but I drink it all here. I was gonna drink this as I was outside, but I already drank it. I consumed the entire thing. Do you ever do this with your phone? Like you're trying to pick it up, so you just grab the cord. The plan for today is to get either an acai bowl or pancakes and get a pastry from a cafe. I decided to take a detour before heading to my acai bowl place because I wanted to get some steps in and get some fresh air. I ended up walking close to the water just because it was so peaceful. I didn't listen to any music, I just walked, and it was so nice to just let all my thoughts out, really just tap into the present moment and just enjoy the short walk to the acai bowl place. It's kind of a nice time to reflect too, just on the whole Europe journey too. Like it's been 2 months and I was kind of slowing down a little bit. Like I was losing energy, and so it was nice just to relax and just be totally present. And then I got an acai bowl from the same place I went to the day prior, but this time I ordered the bowl with the blue spirulina, and it definitely performed. It was a beautiful bowl. They definitely load up the nut butter too, so if you are in Stockholm, I definitely would recommend going here if you love acai bowls like me. This is kind of emotional, but this is the last pastry I ever consumed on my Europe trip, and it was amazing. I got my favorite cardamom bun, and this thing was so fluffy and then crispy on the bottom, and I love the little crunchy cardamom and sugar chunks on top. Absolutely delicious, and I enjoyed that with an espresso and had an amazing time just journaling and people watching and just expressing so much gratitude for this entire trip and just my evolution throughout the trip. It's a very cloudy day. It actually is not raining, so that's nice. But the cloudy weather is kind of making me depressed and sad. I sat in a coffee shop for a while and it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of nice not having like a full-blown agenda and just like going with the flow. I just had an amazing workout. It felt so good to finally be in the gym again, get a good sweat in, get a good workout in. If you didn't know, today's the last day of me being in Europe, so it's kind of like, wow, this is exciting, but also like, wow, I'm excited to go back to the United States of America. I'm really just pushing myself to go after my dreams now. If I want something, I'm going to go after it full force. I really love this era of my life because I'm becoming more fearless, and it's taught me that I'm capable of so much. Before going on this trip, I wanted to vomit. Like I was so nervous. I'm like, can I do this? Can I be by myself for 2 months in multiple different countries and figure my way through? Yes, there were things that happened that were unexpected, unplanned for, and then there are also like a lot of amazing things that have happened that were unplanned for as well. And this is a good lesson for life. You can only plan so much, but there's always going to be something that goes wrong. And there's always going to be things that go right that you never expected. It's how you react to the situation. It's the mindset that you have towards it. For example, my flight got canceled. I could have been freaking out and been like, oh my God, this is the end of the world. But in reality, I just got a hotel and I got a nice dinner. Anyway, I turned it into a positive. I had a very nice Uber driver. Hopefully I made his day. There's always ways you can look at things in life in a positive way. Everything happens for a reason as well. And that's another lesson. I talked about this in the very beginning of my Europe series. It was like day 1 and I was like, I just need to surrender. I need to lean into the unknown. It's easy to say that, but it's another thing to do it. Once I started to just be like, you know what? Like things go wrong and I can't stand here and start screaming and getting mad. It's like, that's not gonna help. All that I can do sometimes is just be like, okay, what do I do next? Pivoting. I think the act of pivoting and sharpening your skills for pivoting into a new direction is so important, and I learned that time and time again on this trip. I'm really thankful for this entire opportunity. I also knew a part of my plan to go to Europe was to vlog the entire thing and edit every single day another vlog. And I knew that was going to be very challenging mentally, physically, and then just creatively as well. And there's some nights where I was like editing until like the nighttime, like 1 or 2 a.m. and then waking up early again, but it was all worth it. Repetition and consistency is going to get you to where you need to be no matter what. That's always been my mindset. Just keep going even if no one's watching. Keep going when no one believes in you. Keep going when it feels like you're never gonna make it to the finish line. Because if you have the mindset of you're doing what you love to do, then you can go forever. Making YouTube videos or making videos in general, I used to do this when I was younger. And I loved editing. I started on Windows Movie Maker on my fat like Dell computer. It's like our family computer that had the loudest fan ever and crashed so many times because all my videos were like so heavy. This Europe trip also helped me to turn inward and reminded me exactly who I am and what I love to do. I'm gonna get a little bit choked up here, but it's a blessing, honestly, to kind of just be reminded that like this is me, because I think I definitely had an identity crisis 2 years ago, and I was like, who am I? And I felt like I was just copying everyone else, and I really lost who I was, and I can make a whole other video on that, like really going into detail, but it was a really dark time in my life, and I was so lost, and I kept telling myself like, just keep going, just try all these creative new things. And I dipped my toes in the water for certain things, but I never went full force. Finally going on this Europe trip, it's like I gave myself permission to be myself, to go explore, get lost, and then find myself. And that's literally what I did. Like there were so many days where I was like, what the heck is going on? But then there were so many days where I'm like, this feels so right. Like every time I was by the ocean, I felt so alive, really calm and like at peace. And so I'm like, yeah, I like being by the ocean. That's just me. And every time I caught the sunrise or the sunset, like I was so happy. And so I know like when that's in my schedule, in my day, I am like very happy. So that's been confirmed. And a lot of these things like I already knew about myself, but some of them were just validation things. If you're watching this far into the video on my little like TED Talk here, but my advice to you is try as many new things as you possibly can. Because it's hard to say like, I honestly think it's bizarre. Like you go to elementary school, you go to middle school, you go to high school, and then you're supposed to just pick your major. And then from that major, you're supposed to pick a career that you're gonna do for the rest of your life and spend a good fortune investment, you know, on the school. And then while you're working, pay all of that off so you literally can't do anything with your life because you're tied down. Retire when you're old, and then when you're old, you're not really gonna wanna travel as much and you can't function as good as you could have when you were younger, and then you die. And to me, I think that whole cycle is bizarre and it's crazy. And I've always looked at it like, what the hell? I've always like had that mindset of just like being a go-getter, I guess, and doing things myself and creating my own path, but I've always been scared. The fear has really been powerful for me. Try as many new things as you possibly can because you'll gain momentum, and that momentum is going to help you to gain confidence and kind of dissolve the fear a little bit. Because for me personally, I know when I was in college, I was not ready to just quit the bank job that I had lined up like straight out of school. I was not ready to just like let that go. I was actually excited about like working a 9 to 5 and like working in finance and stuff until I realized it was like crazy hours and you like dedicate your soul to the job. What I would tell my past self, and maybe if you're in the same shoes as me, like working a 9 to 5 job and you're not really happy with life, you know there's more to your potential, you just don't know what to do, you feel stuck, you feel scared, but you know you want to push forward. This is what I would tell you and my past self is try everything. Dip your toes into the water, but don't go full force yet. Dip your toes in the water, see what excites you, see what makes you feel like time is flying by. That means that's the direction you're supposed to go in. What I would tell you then is turn around and take it to the next step. Like what can you do to like stack on skills to get better at that thing or explore that concept, that topic in a more advanced light? Or how can you connect with other people that are doing the same thing and learn from them? That is something I wish someone would have told me, because honestly, like, I was too afraid to just quit my job and just like go after my dreams, which my dream is to travel and to be a YouTuber and to inspire people to live their best life through mindfulness, traveling, and building strong and steady relationships. If you lose momentum, that's like, it can be detrimental for a lot of people. For me, I have like so much energy, so like I kind of just dipped my toes in and then I went full force, and I'm just like, I don't like it, and I turned around and then I dipped my toe in and I went full force, and that's basically what I did. The true goal for me is freedom, like ultimate freedom of time and money, and just to do exactly what I want to do every day, which is exactly what I did on this Europe trip. When you love what you're doing, you do work every single day, but you love it. It's like you can't put it down. I'll be the first to say, like, I don't want to retire. I want to work every day because it's something that I love to do. The moral of the story of this entire Europe trip is this: give yourself permission to be happy. That hit. Give yourself permission to be happy. Give yourself permission to go after your dreams. Give yourself permission to do the things that light you up, that make you feel like your life is worth living. I know there's really, really, really low points in your life. Maybe you're at a weird point in your life right now where everything is not working out. Maybe you've turned to very negative substances or different addictions or things to help you to basically cope through this very negative time. And maybe you're faking it. Maybe you have friends that make you feel like shit, or maybe your job makes you feel like shit, or maybe you have a great circle, but for some reason, like in your head, you have depression. You're doing everything you can to make it stop, but it won't. And you feel so stuck. If you're in that spot right now in life, I completely understand the pain that that era can bring, because I've been there. Just remember this: if you give yourself permission to do what lights you up, you can pull yourself out of that mess. You have the power to pull yourself out, okay? I love you so much. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.